This week, new installments of Tezzz Talks and Animate, plus we battle which Pixar film reigns supreme. Nerd Central starts right now. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Nerd Central. We will start the show off with a little news. The live-action remake of The Lion King has its cast. Donald Glover, James Earl Jones, John Oliver, and Seth Rogen have already been announced for the film as Simba, Mufasa, Zazu, and Pumbaa respectively. Beyonce, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Alfre Woodward, and John Connie are the notable additions to the cast as Nala, Scar, Sarabi, and Rafiki, respectively. I'm excited for the new additions, and I'm actually excited that they got James Earl Jones back for Mufasa. Now we're going to take it to Tezzz Talks, where Tezzz talks about something in movies, TV, or comic books. What do you have for us this week, Tezzz?
This is Tezzz Talks on Nerd Central.
Well, hello. Welcome to another edition of Tezzz Talks, and today I'll be speaking about Jonah Hex. Now, Jonah Hex is a gunslinger / bounty hunter who has cheated death. He has the ability to track down anyone and anything, and he can talk to the dead. Now, this is an amazing ability, often when used to gather valuable information. Now, within this movie, Jonah Hex was given an option from the U.S. Army that he could not refuse. Now, with this option, if it is fulfilled, all the warrants placed on his head will be erased. This is only if he finds Quentin Turnbull and place him into the custody of the U.S. Army. And if you watch this movie, you will discover why he has such a hatred against Quentin Turnbull, and also why the U.S. Army is so interested in him. Now, this is a 2010 release. The story of this movie was okay. The visuals did not captivate me in a way to where I would get lost in the movie and forget about reality. This movie even was rated a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I came to rate this movie a 3 out of 5 simply because the action was okay. The story was okay. It wasn't a really edge of my seat type of movie. Megan Fox was in it. Megan Fox is hot. I enjoy watching Megan Fox in any movie that she's in. But this movie, I wouldn't recommend you go watch it. It was like a one-hit wonder, but it wasn't really a hit at all. But other than that, I would like to conclude this episode of Tezzz Talks. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Thanks, Tezzz. Jonah Hex is a really interesting character, and his movies are interesting. We would like to send a special birthday wish to a show that's turning 25. X-Men, the animated series, debuted on Fox Kids on October 31st, 1992. Before it debuted, no studio wanted to air it. TV executive Margaret Loesch took the show's pitch across Hollywood trying to get it greenlit. She previously worked on the failed pilot Pride of the X-Men. She was able to get a meeting with Fox Kids and vowed to not make the same mistake again. Fox Kids then greenlit the show. You can watch it on DVD or on Hulu. X-Men is older than me, and that makes me feel old. I don't like that. That's scary. I'm not really a fan of that. Now we're going to take it to another installment of Animate, where we talk about all things animated.
Hi, I'm Eli, and welcome to Animate. This week we were going to do most disappointing anime endings, but we're switching it up a little bit. I'm going to take it to Andy in the sound studio, and he's going to explain how.
So basically what we're going to do to get in the American kind of cartoon anime scene, we're going to do a kind of guess that theme song. It may not just be all cartoons. It may have some live action stuff from our past, but obviously, you know, it's mostly going to be cartoons.
Thanks, Andy. We're going to take it over to our two contestants over here. We've got Molly back from last week, and we also have Bradley back from last week.
I'm cuter.
Want to bet?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
All right, we're gonna take it to Andy in the sound studio for the rules. Andy?
All right. So basically, I have a playlist ready to go. In the middle of the round table, there is a green bucket. They have to hit the bucket. I'm going to stop the music, and then they can guess. If they get it incorrect, then I'm going to replay it, and then the other two people are going to be able to guess. If they get it right, we're just going to keep playing the song, and then we're just going to go. Sound good?
Aye, aye, Captain.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Let's get this started.
All right, song number 1.
Corey's in the house.
That is correct.
Right?
Molly gets point number 1.
I was like,
Oh man, I was like, I know this.
Oh man, that was like late middle school that came out.
Man, I could just see him like driving in the car too. Like,
Yeah.
All right, we're queued up. You guys ready for number 2?
Yep.
All right. Here's the next one. Bradley?
Powerpuff Girls.
That's correct.
I'm very proud of that. They just announced the 4th one too, and it looks completely different from the other ones. I'm very proud of it though. I still watch the show.
The next song.
oh no!
I know this one too.
What is it? Barney.
That is correct.
We all knew it too. We're just like waiting for like
We're
at
like-
least one little thing. Oh, okay.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's
I'm not admitting that I know this song. Okay.
I could just sing
dinosaur
along.
sensation.
Bust home for imaginary friends.
Oh,
This is my boy Blue. My boy Blue. Oh,
Blue and
man.
Mac.
Oh yeah, Blue.
See, this is making me think I didn't have a childhood, and I'm now like slightly
like-
angry at my parents.
That's like my. That's
Foster's
my,
Home for Imaginary Kids was a good
It's
show.
so good. Like I have that on like my Netflix on my watch list.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, it was. I don't know if it still is. I remember watching it like at least a year ago.
Lilo and Stitch!
Circle gets the square.
Now we flip this bucket back over.
I'm shook. Okay.
Jesus, I can't even form proper sentences.
Mine.
Bradley, that was a little excessive. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Futurama.
That is correct.
Sweet Life on Deck.
Still in the future.
That is correct. That was Molly.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That is correct.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
That is correct. Molly.
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Scooby-Doo. Dora the Explorer. Should I recite the whole thing, or should I just say what the
You
show is?
may. Go right ahead.
After Last Airbender. I'm not
you
going to
go.
recite the whole thing.
Even
Long
if I have
ago, 4 nations lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when a
Fire Nation attacked.
Ben 10.
Correct. On that one.
Camp Laszlo. Chalk Zone.
Yep.
Codenamed Kids Next Door. Dexter's Laboratory.
That is correct.
Ed, Maddie.
See if you
I
can
see
get
it in my.
Billy and Mandy.
That's a raven.
Yes.
Caillou.
Teletubbies.
Magic School Bus.
That is correct. That.
What?
Yes.
Victorious.
For the win. Molly for the win. I knew it.
Well, it looks like Molly won this time. Molly, you have any words?
Thanks, Mom, for letting me watch TV. So you can tell your tuition money is really paying off.
All right. Well, I want to thank both of y'all for coming on and being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Anytime.
All right. And I want to thank Andy in the sound studio for being the referee.
Not a problem, man. Happy to do it.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Eli. Y'all need to quiet down when you're on air like that. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned for more Nerd Central. Welcome back to Nerd Central. We're going to take it to Tyler Bruh for his review of Stranger Things. Tyler?
How's it going, guys? It's Tyler here again, and today I will be discussing with you one of my recently watched favorite series, Stranger Things. So let's get started. In this Netflix original series, we see four best friends encounter some unordinary events. The group of boys are in 7th grade and consists of Dustin, Lucas, Mike, and Will, who all love to play Dungeons & Dragons. The series is created, written, directed, and co-executive produced by the Duffer Brothers, as well as co-executive produced by Sean Levy and Dan Cohen. Season 1 was released in July of 2016. It was an instant hit, as it's full of thrilling, supernatural mysteries. The whole season has a creepy sort of vibe to it, and starts off intense as we see one of the best friends, Will, vanish one night after a long game of Dungeons & Dragons in Episode 1. Set in the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana in the 1980s, the first season focuses on the investigation into the disappearance of Will. During the disappearance, there has been a lot of supernatural events occurring around the town, including the appearance of a girl with psychokinetic abilities who helps the group of friends on their search for Will. The group finds out that the girl's name is 11 and grew up within the walls of the nearby Hawkins National Laboratory, U.S. Department of Energy. Doesn't sound like a very appealing place to grow up, now does it? The laboratory is far from the U.S. Department of Energy, as it provides experiments involving sensor deprivation and drug use, in which one experiment led to the birth of 11. While furthering their experience on 11, the laboratory accidentally creates a doorway to a horrifying alternate dimension, which the group figures out is where Will has vanished to. The group tries to keep 11 a secret from the people at the lab, but run into some trouble.
Lucas, if you can hear us, slow down. We can't understand you. Yes! I copy! Do you? They know about 11! Get out of there! They know about 11! The bad men are coming! All of them! Do you hear me? The bad men are coming!
Mad Hen, does that mean anything to you? Like a code name or something?
It's just one more obstacle the group has to avoid while trying to save the life of one of their best friends. If you want to find out if the group ever saves Will, make sure to watch the series on Netflix. And with Season 2 just being released, now is a great time to check it out, as you can start Season 2 right after. Thanks for watching. This has been Tyler Bruff. Now back to Nerd Central.
Thanks, Tyler. I haven't ever watched Stranger Things. Come at me, Internet. Netflix has decided to suspend their hit show House of Cards. In a joint statement between Netflix and MRC, the production company behind the show, said that they are reviewing the current situation and will address any concerns from the cast and crew. This stems from a report earlier in the week surrounding House of Cards star Kevin Spacey. No news has been released as to when the 6th season will resume production, but Netflix is looking into a few spin-off series. Again, come after me, Internet. Never watched House of Cards. Now we're going to take it to Haley Southard for her review of Codenames Kids Next Door.
Hi, this is Haley Southard from Nerd Central, and today I will be talking about Codename Kids Next Door. Main characters are the kids next door and the delightful children from down the lane. The kids next door consist of number 1, aka Nigel Uno, the leader of the group. Number 2, aka Hogarth or Hoagie, Pennywhistle Gilligan Jr., the inventor. Number 3, Kooky Sanvan, the cute and dumb one. Number 4, aka Wallaby or Wally, Beatles, the tough talker. And number 5, aka Abigail or Abby, Lincoln, the tough and sassy second in command. The delightful children from down the lane consists of a family of well-mannered, stuck-up and pampered children bent on destroying the kids next door. Every episode is a different mission that the kids next door take on. The kids next door and the delightful children from down the lane are in a constant battle for control of the neighborhood with the help of different gadgets and inventions. What I enjoy most about this show is that there's humor, action, excitement, and adventure. There's interesting characters, and it teaches children some important life lessons. But mostly, the show embodies youth at its finest. The show's missions vary from taking down an ice cream truck to fighting for the use of the adult pool, as well as disrupting the birthday party of the delightful children from down the lane. Or worse, growing up.
I can't be a Kids Next Door operative anymore. I'm not a kid.
No matter what happens, the kids next door always come out on top. The show also features a lot of voice actors that appear in other animated shows. So if you like one voice actor, there's a good chance you'll hear the actor's voice in another show. But don't trust my opinion. Watch it and decide for yourself. Again, this is Haley Southard from Nerd Central. Stay nerdy.
Thanks, Haley. Number 4 was my favorite member of the team because he was Australian and he was cool. That's going to do it for this week's Nerd Central. Nerd Showdown is next. You can watch Nerd Central and Nerd Showdown and all of our other amazing shows on the KNWT YouTube page, and follow Nerd Central on Twitter at nerd_central_TV, and follow KNWT on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. Please stay tuned for Nerd Showdown.
Hello and welcome to Nerd Showdown, the part of Nerd Central where we battle it out on a particular topic we have no business debating. This week, the Blu-ray release of Cars 3. We want to settle the argument, Best Pixar Film. I'm your host, Shannon Clement, and I have with me two amazing fighters. To my left, fighting for Ratatouille, we have Cassie. And to my right, we have Dalton fighting for Finding Nemo. The rules are simple. Both competitors will be able to make their points to the audience. After that, yours truly gets to decide who reigns supreme. Now that's out of the way, let's show down. Dalton, let's see what you got.
All right, so first off, I'm going to plead my case that Finding Nemo is the best Pixar movie by saying 3 words. Just keep swimming. The reason behind that, every movie you see, Pixar, whatever, Toy Story, you know, you've got Inside Out and all these like new age movies that don't mean anything. Let me tell you, back in the day, my little like 8-year-old self, when I saw Nemo swimming through the water trying to find his dad, it meant the world to me, okay? So, basically the story, you have Marlin the clownfish who loses his son, and he teams up with the fish Dory, played by Ellen DeGeneres. She's got a good voice. And you go through this trial of fire by trying to find this little clownfish. And they're trying to find each other. And when they meet in the middle, it's glorious. And you don't see that in a lot of new age Pixar movies because everything's always convoluted by, you know, any kind of like, I don't know, like new age message or something like that. But this Finding Nemo has heart. At the base of the story, it's just trying to find what matters the most to you, okay? In that case, I feel like to me, it spoke a lot because when you're a kid, you're just trying to find what matters most to you in life. You're trying to grow up in a big old sea full of fish and you're scared and you're lonely and you don't know what to do. But Nemo gave me hope because he was just a little clownfish that didn't know what the heck was going on, but he persevered. After many trials and tribulations, he swam through the sea and eventually met up with his dad and Dory at the end of the movie. Spoilers, because that's how a good Pixar movie should end.
Thanks, Dalton. Now on to Cassie. Let's hear what you got.
All right, so I'm going to be arguing for Ratatouille, and the reason it's the best is it is a new age Pixar film. So the greatest thing about it is, like, cinematically speaking, like, the animals and people, though they are cartoons, they still have very realistic features. Like, the main character, Linguini, has freckles and it's very like naturally done. Or the fact that Remy, the rat, he has fur, but when he's wet in one of the like first beginning scenes, his fur is like shimmery but wet and like there's water droplets. Everything is done really well. When there's food, the bread looks toasted and realistic. When he bites into a strawberry, you see the seeds on the outside and you see the perfect lining of the strawberry on the inside. So cinematically, they did a phenomenal job. And as far as character development, you have this rat, someone that like goes unloved for the most part of their life, but they somehow like turn it around into like he's this great person just trying to follow his dreams with the slogan, anyone can cook, which is great because, you know, everyone thinks that cooking is just one of those like, oh, whatever things, but someone can make a French cuisine, a French meal as good as a restaurant. A rat can do it, so anyone can do it. And it's just this battle between people like telling themselves that they can't do something, but this whole movie is telling people that like no matter what you do, no matter what your dreams are, no matter like how oddball you think it is, you should just go out and do it, and you're gonna do it great.
Now that we have heard both sides of the argument, let's have them put it out on the table together.
All right, well, I guess in my opinion, Ratatouille is great, but the thing is, how practical is it that you have a rat controlling the main character, making all the food for him, but the slogan is anyone can cook, which is obviously not true because a rat pulling his hair inside of his chef's hat has to make this famous meal for the food critic, and I don't really understand why, you know, to me it's just kind of far-fetched in the sense you're like, okay, this rat is like the main character of the story, but the real problem is this guy, this big old dummy, is in a restaurant and he can't cook for anybody, and this rat's like, hey, I've got good taste, I can cook for you. And to me, I don't see how the message in that is anywhere close to how much the message in Finding Nemo hits home, you know? It's super practical. You have a fish lost in a big sea trying to find his dad and vice versa. His dad's trying to find his son. And they go through trials of adversity, and they go through different things of, you know, it tests their integrity and their willpower and their love for each other. But at the end of the day, they meet up and they come back together and they can say, you know what? We're family.
Boy. Okay, so your whole argument talking about how like, oh, family or whatever. At the end of Ratatouille, he finds a family. The rat becomes part of the family with Linguini and the crazy chick who throws the knives. But that's the whole point. Like, it's not that there needs to be like, oh, fishes need to stay together, blah, blah, blah. Like, anyone can become friends, anyone can be a family, anyone from any walk of life can come together over this one thing, which is food. Everyone shares the same, like, likes and dislikes, like food. Everyone, for the most part, likes pizza. Everyone eats pizza. So that's the main point of Ratatouille. And the whole part with Finding Nemo is all about some dude that keeps losing people. Like, what is up with that? Oh, like, oh, lost my wife. Oh, lost all, like, 800 kids of mine except for one. He loses his last kid again? Are we just teaching people that it's okay to lose your kids out in the ocean? Or the fact that, like, sharks don't eat fish? Excuse you. They do, sir. I think you're just trying to tell people that it's okay for sharks to, like, be whatever they want to be, but they're not. They eat fish.
That's going to do it for Nerd Showdown, and the winner is, drum roll please, Cassie with Ratatouille!
I knew I was going to win. Dalton is not very good.
Well, I picked Cassie because I like the point she made about the moral part of the story and how that really relates into today's, and how people can actually take away from that, as in you're telling sharks not to eat fish and trying to get them to be someone they're not. So that is why she ended up winning. Northwest Sessions is next. Just as a reminder to go to KNWT's Twitter page to show your support for this week's showdown. See you next week.
Little details. I really should have won me this.
This is going to turn into an actual argument outside of this.
But,
oh gosh.
But basically you're going to be like, all right, and the winner is, and then you, what do you call it? You say